and burn.
Ow. Wow, that... Fuck. I don't even want to do this anymore. Hey, everyone. So tonight I wanted to discuss First, I wanted to discuss how sometimes I lose the power of speech. For some reason, when I'm doing these, I forget how to talk, and I look at the record I'm going to talk about, and then I just kind of blank out. And I started thinking about tampons there for some reason. So, all right. So tonight, I wanted to discuss DJ Shadow's "The Less You Know, the Better." And I will say, in a sense, that's kind of an ironic title for this album, because after The Outsider, it's sort of like concerning his career, the less the rest of us knew, the better. And in a way, that's completely true of this album. And in another way, it's not, because this record has a really fun and, I'd say, upbeat and positive vibe to it. I'm not trying to imply in any way that his works prior to this were negative or sort of like, unfun or something, because that couldn't be further from the truth. I'm just saying that with this record, there seems to be more of like a lightheartedness at play, perhaps. I guess it's a good way of putting it. Nonetheless, as much as I do like this album, I do sort of feel like he has lost his way, and he never really will ever be able to find his way back to where he was with the Private Press and Introducing. Because The Outsider just really threw a curveball in, and it just sort of derailed his career just enough so that he still had a career, but things were never going to be the way they were before, because he had alienated such a large percentage of his fan base. And with this record, he's not trying to get anybody back. He's not trying to win new fans. This record in a lot of ways feels personal. It feels more like he's just growing and he's having fun and making music while he's doing it. This record, like I said, it's really upbeat, and it feels good when you're listening to it. I will say I hate all the guest spots. I feel that really takes away from the impact of the music and what he has to offer. But I like how at times this record gets incredibly experimental. With, for example, I think the most experimental track on here would be "Give Me Back the Nights." Now, I love that song. That's like my favorite one on here. And even though it's not really what he's known for, it has a vocal sample of somebody talking about lost love and how they need to be given back the nights over like a bass loop. And it really works for me. And my most recent ex-girlfriend, she hated that song. So whenever I wanted to fuck with her, I would just put that on. And she hated the part when it clips at the end, when he screams, "Give me back the nights," and the audio peaks. She absolutely hated that, and it fucking just tore her up. So it was a lot of fun to mess with her while loving this track at the same time. I like the artwork. I like the feel. I like how there's a comical aspect here as far as the artwork's concerned. I like how, like I said, this record feels right. It feels like he was in a good place when he made it. Even though I will say this record didn't make much of an impact when it was released a handful of years back. Actually, it made pretty much no impact at all. Nobody even knew it came out. I'm always keeping like a loose eye on DJ Shadow, because I'm low-key begging that, somewhere deep inside that he will find his way back to the Private Press, or maybe there's a bunch of unreleased tracks from that era that he'll see fit to release at some point. But I don't know. As the years drone on and he gets older and he continues to develop in the direction that he's chosen to develop, it seems less and less likely. I have that hope, actually, for a lot of bands. I would like to see The Offspring do it, too, for, like, the sort of the Ignition, Smash, Ixnay era. I know they have a whole whack of unreleased and unfinished songs. I would love to see those things released, because that's, like, The Offspring's classic period. The same thing with Bad Religion from, like, the Suffer Against the Grain and No Control years. I mean, Rancid gave us the B-sides and C-sides, so they followed through on that, so it's almost like they read my mind, which was awesome. Means I'm really in tune with the guys from Rancid. And I wish DJ Shadow would do that, especially concerning his first two landmark releases that came out practically 20 or so years ago at this point. That would be really nice to see. But like I said, as time drones on, it becomes less and less likely that that's ever going to happen. And this record is fun, but I don't know. It's still missing what the private press had, and I hate doing that. I hate always like having somebody's career cemented to a certain period, and it's like they're not allowed to grow past that. But the private press was just so perfect sounding, and everything since hasn't really been. There's been hints of that genius tossed in here and there, but for the most part, it just hasn't been the same. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know, I can't think of anything else to say. So look, I'm going to go. So thank you so much for sitting with me while I discussed DJ Shadow's The Less You Know, The Better. If you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody, and I will see you guys soon. So, have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.